Hi everyone! Welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today we have a fun art project from Mrs. H, an art teacher from Texas. Hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to Art with Mrs. H and
Kate.
Okay, so just a little about myself. My name is Mrs. H and I'm an art teacher, have been for about 13 years, and Kate is my
Son.
and my assistant today, right? He's gonna help us make this art project today. So today we are gonna teach you how to make a pinch pot monster or creature. So this is actually one that Kate made in my classroom this year. He's just finished 2nd grade and he's going into 3rd grade. We made this using clay that you bake or that you fire in a kiln. And so today what we're gonna do is show you how to make it with supplies that you can find at your local craft store, because I know most of you probably don't have a kiln at home to make something like this. So we actually are using oven baked clay, which is made by a brand called Sculpey. They have other brands, but this is my favorite brand. I feel like it works the best, okay? You can find this at a craft store like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. You can also find different brands at Walmart probably as well. If you don't have oven baked clay, you could make this with air dry clay, with Model Magic clay if you want to. Another thing you could do if you want to just make it and then destroy it is you could make it with modeling clay. So, but this is what we're going to use today, and this says this on the back, but you must have an adult do the baking for you. So once you have made this, you have to let your mom or dad or whoever you're staying with bake it for you to make it finished, okay? They come in these little bricks and they need to be kneaded a little bit. So you have to kind of take it out and squish it and play with it a little bit to make it a little bit softer, because right, it was pretty hard at the beginning when we started working with it. So you have to do that to get it started. So today we're also going to use some things you may find in your home to use for tools, since we may not have clay tools at home. So there's just a plastic knife. What could you use it for?
You could use it for making the tongue.
Making lines, like drawing lines, okay? And what could you use a spoon for?
You can use a spoon for blending in your thing.
Right, so like when you attach a couple pieces together, if you want to make sure they stay together, you could blend them together using this spoon.
Like this?
Because that's what we use a clay tool with in our classroom. So he's just kind of smushing those two edges together to make sure they stay put. Okay, so that's something we can use. Another thing you can use is a paintbrush, and I'll show you later in the video how we're gonna use a paintbrush to make the little dents in the eyes so that our creature has little pupils in the eyes, okay? So we are gonna go ahead and get started, so we are going to start by showing you how to make the body, or I guess you could say the mouth of your creature. So I'm gonna actually move the camera angle down so you can see our hands at work, so you can see what we're doing, okay? So what we're gonna do, we both have a pretty big piece of clay, and this was actually 2 of the bars of clay that we used, and we put them together and we've kneaded them and played with it to make it softer, because at first it was definitely not something that we could work with because it was pretty hard. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it into a ball, the best ball that we can. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a pinch pot, okay? So what you do is take your thumb and stick it in the middle of the clay. It's a little bit different to use this clay, isn't it, than using your clay from your classroom. So we leave our thumb in there and we're gonna turn our fingers into like crab claws, okay? Or lobster claws. So we're gonna keep our fingers straight and leave our thumb in the middle of the clay, and we're pinching as we turn. Okay, so if you'll see right here, this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so I've got a little indentation, okay? And now, once it's big enough, we can put both of our thumbs inside of it, and we pinch and turn. And what we're trying to do is
make it pinky thickness.
Oh, so show them what that means, what pinky thickness means.
As big as your pinky.
So the edge of the clay needs to be as big as your pinky, okay? So that will ensure that it's not too thick and that it will
not break.
It will not break if it's too thin. If it's thinner than that, it might break. And if it's too thick, then it won't bake well in your oven, okay? So, let me show you, I've got mine. Mine's a little bit thinner than pinky thickness, but my pinky is probably a little bit bigger than your pinky, okay? Something to watch out for is to make sure that the back of it, so this middle part, is not too thick, because that's a very common mistake that people make, okay? So, we good here? Yeah? Okay, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna put your little pinch pot down on the table, and this is gonna become the mouth of your creature, okay? So you can open it up tall if you want to, you can squish it down like this if you want to, you can just open it big, it's totally up to you. But what you wanna do is make sure that it's stable enough to sit by itself, okay?
Like it can sit on the table.
Yeah, okay, so you make sure that it's flat enough on the bottom so it can sit down on the table, okay? So then you're gonna use the other clay that you have to make details, such as teeth, eyes, horns, spikes on the back. You could put wings on it, eyebrows, all kinds of really fun things you can put onto your little creature. So we're gonna work on some of those things right now, okay? I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna make a tooth, okay? So I've got a nice ball here, and what I'm gonna do is start kind of pinching one end of it. So it starts to look sort of like the shape of a strawberry, almost. Okay, and then I can tap it on the table to make the bottom of it, or the top of it, flat. And then I'm just gonna smush it up in there to make it look like a little tooth. Show you a little tip while we're sitting here. If you have some paintbrushes at home, you can totally use the back end of the paintbrush, not the brushy part, but the back end of the paintbrush to make the pupils in the eye of your monster.
If you don't have any paintbrushes, you can use a pencil too.
Yes, you could use a pencil. Okay, so it just makes the little dots on the eyes. There we go. Now it's easier to see that. Okay. So that's a fun way to do that. And once this is baked, a fun thing to do is just take a Sharpie marker and poke it in the middle there, and it's gonna make the dots black on the inside, which will look pretty cool. Can I borrow some of your blue?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I'm gonna make myself a tongue. So I'm making it a cylinder or a snake, whatever you wanna call it. And then I'm gonna flatten it out to make it into a tongue. And I'm just gonna press it into the clay. Now, okay, you can also use this knife tool. I'm gonna make it to draw the line down the middle of my tongue. Okay, so I have my monster sticking his tongue out at us, see?
My hands are sharp.
Oh, yeah, mine are totally not sharp.
That mean I'm a better sculptor than you?
Maybe. Okay, I think I'm done with my little guy.
Aww.
Now he's ready for baking. I'm gonna leave him right there. Show everybody. I'm gonna show him our little creature creations. So these are little, he looks so awesome. He looks fierce, doesn't he, with those horns? So these are our little pinch pot creatures made at home using polymer clay that you bake in the oven. So I actually have the oven fired up, so I'm gonna go ahead and bake them, and then maybe I'll come back and show you guys what they look like when they're all finished, okay? So thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys later. All right, so they have been baked in the oven, and we wanted to show you what they look like all finished.
I put cavities on mine.
He used a Sharpie to add some cavities, and then also he used the Sharpie to make the little pupils in the eyes, and so did I. So something else I did to mine was I used, sorry, still a little bit wet. I used these these watercolors, and these are metallic watercolors, so they have a little bit of shimmer to them. And I used those to add some color onto my little creature. So he has a little bit of shimmer to him, okay? And something else you can do once these are all done is you could paint like a clear coat on top of them so that all the color is on there and they're shiny, kind of like the one that we have here, so that he's all shiny and finished, okay? So that's something you could do to make it look almost exactly like you've done it in a kiln at your school. Another kind of paint you could use if you wanted to is just a regular acrylic paint, like a craft paint from the craft store. And I also have these at Walmart too. And you could totally change the color of your little creature if you wanted to, if you didn't like the color of the clay. So just a few finishing touches for our little pinch pot polymer clay creatures that we created, okay? So I hope you enjoyed. We'll show you Kate's one more time. Hope you enjoyed art with Mrs. H and Kate, and we will see you next time. Say bye.
Bye.